Okay, so let's talk today about being great, achieving greatness, achieving success. We say a lot of it is in the journey and so on. You shouldn't be too focused on results, but there's no question. I mean, everybody wants to be better. Everybody wants to be, um, I don't know, great at what they do. So why don't we? I want to apply something I've heard probably for the last 25 years in the dojo. It's the 5 ways to become a great martial artist. I think it transcends just martial arts. It goes to everything in life. So there's 5 ways. I want to share them with you. If you apply them, I guarantee you'll have a better life. The first is patience. Anything that you do, if it's a new activity, if it's a new discipline, if it's a new relationship, it's going to be something that you didn't do up until the point you started, right? I mean, that's logical. So you've got to be patient with yourself. You can't expect that you're going to walk into a new thing right away and be the best in the room, or even be the 10th best in the room, or moderately successful. You've got to allow yourself that time to explore, allow yourself to get better, to not beat the crap out of yourself if you fail. Give yourself time to actually get something down. So patience is absolutely crucial. It's like the old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. It applies to anything. It doesn't matter if it's anything that's of value is going to take time. There's no way around that. You've got to put in the work. The next thing is perseverance. Patience is great, but if all you are is patient, you're going to be just as bad a year from now as you are today. You've got to actually show up consistently. You've got to be willing to, if you say you're going to sit and you're going to make that a part of your life, you've got to do it consistently. You've got to keep it up. That means even when you don't feel like it. Sometimes the practices, the disciplines that we engage in when we don't want to are the most important, and they're the ones that we get the most growth from. You've got to persevere. So you can't just get that great diet plan and say, one day I'm going to have the body I want. If you're not doing the work, you're going to have the exact body you have now. And I think that should probably make sense to you too. So we've got patience, perseverance. The third way is practice hard. You've got to give everything you've got, everything you have, to whatever task that you're doing. If it's important enough for you to make it any kind of discipline, any kind of goal, then you've got to actually practice hard. That means that, if you're working out, then give your 100%. If you're sitting and having a conversation with a friend or with a loved one, you're focused there. You're not on your phone. You're not texting while you're talking. You are engaged. You're practicing hard. You're giving it all. That means mentally and physically. So patience, perseverance, practice hard. Next is important. It's practice exactly what you want to perform. This has a lot of relevance, especially in martial arts. So you have guys that come in all the time, and they say, well, they practice pretty lazy, and then you say, oh, well, what I would really do, and you have people that are like that in all areas of their life. They have people that kind of give a halfway effort, and then they say, well, if it really mattered, this is what I would do. And I've found that you're not going to rise to any level. You're not going to rise to any occasion. You're going to fall back into your habits. And so the best thing you can do is make those habits excellent. If you're going to, for instance, if you're take it out of martial arts and you're lifting weights, so you're lifting weights and you're working on your squat. So when you do that, or a more complex movement, let's say you're doing a snatch or a clean and jerk, something like that, you want to make sure that you have your proper form all the time, right? Because you can get away with being lazy when it's easy. When it's just the bar or it's just 135. It's easy to get sloppy with your form. But then what happens when you put a couple 100 pounds on the bar? All of a sudden you can't structurally sustain it. It's important that you build these habits, because as things get more tense, as you're going for a personal best, let's say, or you're sparring somebody in the dojo who you're a little bit maybe afraid of, you're going to definitely revert to whatever your habit is, because your mind's going to be going through all this other stuff. So as you train, as you practice, you've got to only do it as perfectly as you can. Whatever you can do, you don't have to do everything perfect. That's ridiculous and it's not possible. But whatever you can do perfectly, do it perfectly. So we tell our brand new first day students, you can't do anything right, but you know where to put your shoes when you walk into the dojo. You can do that right. So what you can do perfectly. And then they become autopilot. It becomes this habit of excellence and something you don't need to think about, because when you're in a moment, when you're under some actual pressure, you're not going to have the ability to think about it. So you've got to train your body, train your mind to do it exactly how you want to do it all the time, especially when it's easy, because that'll pay dividends when it gets harder. And then the fifth way, probably obvious, you've got patience, perseverance, practice hard, practice exactly what you want to perform. These are great things. They'll make you a better just about anything in the world. But if you want to be really the kind of person you want to be, you've got to add the fifth way, which is meditation. We've got to discipline the mind. From a martial arts standpoint, without it, then we're just doing Taibo. We're just doing just kickboxing, sport boxing, things like that. To make it martial arts, you've got to have control of the internal environment. Now take it out of martial arts, you take it into being a really engaged, actualized person. You've got to have the ability to respond well. You've got to have the ability to not be a prisoner of your reactions, rather to be a master of your actions. And how do we do that? We have that by having that internal control, having that internal ability to have that internal dialogue, the ability to take that extra breath, and we get that, we discipline that muscle, because it is a muscle, just like your quads or your chest or your back. Your will is a muscle. You discipline it through your meditation. So take those 5 ways and apply them to whatever it is that you do, whatever you want to see yourself get better at. And I would hope that if you're doing something, then you want to continually grow. You want to keep it up. And you want to see some actual progress. Patience, perseverance, practice hard, practice exactly what you want to perform, and meditate. Take those, apply them to what you do, and I think you'll see results. So keep it up, keep practicing.